Let's get into it. This was a frustrating loss. I really don't know as a Seahawk fan if I think there's any hope that we could be an effective team or not. I keep doing this to myself. I keep thinking, you know what? There's a chance for us, and I see that in our offense. Our offense is putting up amazing points. If you would have told me last year that these are the scores that we're going to have in our first 5 games, I would have told you that we weren't training Russell Wilson because there's no way we're putting up 48 points against the Lions, and there's no way we're putting up 32 points against the Saints. So you really got to give a lot of credit to Geno Smith. Yeah, I wish he would have thrown that ball away on 3rd and 2, giving us another chance on 4th and 2 to possibly go for it. And let Pete decide, but he just took that bad sack. Outside of that, Geno had an amazing game. He went 16 for 25, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had DK in the beginning, great play. He hit Lockett a couple times on those deep balls. Lockett had an amazing game. He's doing a good job performing at a high level. So that was a lot of fun to watch, and that's what gives me hope, because our offensive line was doing okay, but really what it is the shooting ourselves in the foot, I guess. The amount of mistakes we're making, it's so consistent. I mean, we are the most penalized team in the NFL. This can't fly, and this is week 5. Pete Carroll's been a head coach for a significant amount of time now. You got to get your team together. You got to figure out a way to, let the other team earn it. We were in this game. We gave up 39 points, and we could have still won this game, which is crazy to say. Crazy to say. DK should have held on to that ball. Shouldn't have fumbled that ball. I mean, other than the flags, a lot of really dumb mistakes. Okay, that punt where Michael Dickerson was trying to run it. It was like 4th and 13. What are you guys doing? He was like over 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage too. He's going to run 30 yards, 20, 30 yards. So that was frustrating to watch. And what was really frustrating is that we were still in it the entire time. As a fan, it's kind of nice to know early on whether you're gonna have a chance to win the game, or if it's just like, okay, we're not gonna pull through on this. We have next week. But this entire time, I was just like, you know what, we still have a chance. We still have a chance, and our defense really struggled. So Andy Dalton, he had a decent game. He had great throws. A lot of injured wide receivers. Really frustrating to see how him and Taysom Hill were able to do a lot of damage against us. Taysom Hill not only was able to throw the ball for that touchdown, but, man, he had 112 yards total running the ball. He had 3 touchdowns. And it just goes to show our run defense is just non-existent. Kamara had a decent game. He also had over 100 yards for 23 carries. So a lot of things to fix, and it's just at this point in time, I'm just wondering, is this fixable for us? I get it, it's week 5, but putting up, last week the Lions putting up 45 points against us, and this week the Saints putting up 39 points against us. Is this something that we could fix? When it comes to week 10, week 11, week 12, are we going to be able to adjust as a defense, or are we just going to plummet and hopefully draft players next year? Because there's a lot we have here that looks good, especially offensively. So it's a tough spot to be in. You're hoping our defense figures it out, but you don't know, because every game Seattle seems to be in it. There always seems to be a good fight. Last week was obviously a fun game. We held the lead, but we can't asking Geno to come back in this. It's just not who he is. He's not. I don't think he may have that part of him in the game, but we'll see. It's a little bit frustrating right now. Obviously, this is just right after the game, but a lot to talk about with this team moving forward and where we can go. Just to look ahead to our schedule, next week we play the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are obviously playing pretty good right now. I don't have a score on me right now for the Cardinals game, but they're obviously a tough NFC West division rivalry. We have the Chargers, uh, looking pretty good. They just beat the Browns. And then we play the Giants, who, I thought, oh, we'll beat the Giants, but they just beat Green Bay in London. So we don't have an easy schedule. We really don't. So we got a lot of work to do, and hopefully offensively we can keep it going, because it is looking really good offensively. We have to avoid those flags. You have to avoid the flags. There's way too many mistakes. Being the most penalized team and asking Gino to win for us, it's not going to work. So figuring it out there on the offensive side, stop with the flags, stop with the mistakes. On the defensive side, there was at one point the announcers were making the point that instead of on the goal line, when the Saints were on the goal line, instead of the defense reading the offense, the Saints offense was just reading us. It was obvious what our schemes were, and that's why they're able to score on us so many times. So we got to figure that out, and hopefully we can do that against the Cardinals next week. We'll see where this goes. I don't know. I don't know what this expectation is for this team. Going into the season, I thought we probably won't win more than like 3 or 4 games. But now I'm like, oh shoot, can we win 6 games, 7 games, maybe 8 games? Can we really do some damage? So we'll see. We got a long road ahead. We finally go back home though next week, so hopefully we can get things figured out, and Pete can get this figured out, because we can't with these penalties. These penalties cannot fly. So all right, that's gonna be it for me, guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. Go Hawks.